Hi everyone, Erica Rock, Spiritual Catalyst. Feeling guided to make a video, which will actually be an experience of activating our multidimensional nature. And I was laughing as the guidance came through because I'm like, I don't even really know how to speak about this because it's so beyond the mind. And it's incredibly challenging to define it, articulate it, explain it. I will do the very best I can, so bear with me. So with all of the energies that are coming through our solar logos, the great central sun, these massive waves of awakening and ascension energy, it's activating our multidimensionality. And as this first occurs, we can feel very ungrounded, confused, overwhelmed, overstimulated. Because it can feel like we are tuning into 50 different radio stations simultaneously. And there's all this noise. And so that is like one of the beginning stages of our experience of our multidimensional nature. And over time, we start to integrate that so that at the end of it is this incredible clarity, certainty, embodiment, if you will. As our multidimensional nature is activating, and we can just feel like we're all over the place, energy scattered, very vivid dreams, the ability to see layers and layers and layers of data, of information, of light, energy, and intelligence. And we might not know at first what to do with all this data. I'm finding that a few things have been extremely helpful for me. Grounding, 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 and more grounding, which, to be honest with you, when I started on my spiritual journey and people spoke to me about grounding, I would roll my eyes. I did. I was like, oh, whatever, grounding, grounding. And here I am today in this new level of consciousness, honoring grounding and realizing the vital importance of grounding for a zillion reasons. But if we are to embody our highest nature, our truest nature, our most authentic nature, we've got to ground. And I made a bunch of videos about grounding recently because the techniques and tools and procedures I had been taught to ground were no longer working for me. So from this place of like, okay, creator, like what's up? I need a new way to ground. So like, please help me. A new way was downloaded to me, and that is to invoke the energy and essence of various crystals and see, feel, allow, imagine them growing from my feet, going down into Mother Earth. And grounding using crystal frequencies has been really awesome and an amazing experience. And so there's the grounding aspect, because if we want to embody, we must be grounded. We have to be fully in the body. And that has challenges all on its own because a lot of us don't feel like we're from planet Earth, and this place is very confusing and it can be very painful. And quite frankly, we don't feel super safe being in a body on Earth. Like, it feels very unsafe. So it can be very counterintuitive to get all the way in here, right? But once we do, we find that the anxiety, the fear, a lot of like negative self-talk, it begins to diminish because we are owning our physical vessel. And as we own our physical vessel, there's not room for a lot of other outside interference, energies, and nonsense to influence us. But it's very counterintuitive at first, and I totally I offer this information to you, and you might be like, lady, the last thing I want to do is really get in my body. It hurts to be here. Maybe you have physical pain. And so it can feel at first when we're really in our physicality that we notice our physical pain more. I promise you that the more you embody this human suit, the pain will begin to transmute all on its own by the very nature of you getting in the body. So if you can ride that wave of intensity, that is a phase, and you will get to the other side of that. You'll be so glad you did. So dealing with our multidimensional nature, got to be grounded, embodied. Our psychic senses are opening at the speed of light, especially the third eye. I've been seeing things that I don't know that I necessarily have wanted to see, but I'm seeing them, and I'm doing my very best to be like an acceptance of what I'm seeing and detached and witnessing and observing it. One of the psychic gifts that I find that most people want to have is the ability to see. And with that gift comes a lot of responsibility, because we don't get to pick and choose what we see once it's actually the first eye. I know we call it the third eye, but this is actually the first eye. As our first eye opens, we don't get to pick and choose what we get to see. It's like the veils drop, and I want to talk about veils in a second. The veils drop, and we're able to see layers upon layers upon layers. Like, for example, I remember as a teenager, as my psychic sight would open, I would see, my classmates, people behaving in certain ways. And the gift that I had was I didn't just see the behavior, but I could see what was driving the behavior. So I was seeing underneath the underneath, the underneath, the underneath. And from that place of being able to really see what was driving the person to do what they did, came a lot of compassion and love and acceptance. When at first blush, if you just looked at, why is this person always starting physical fistfights with people? But then you started to see, oh, well, they're being abused at home, and their parents were abused, and this has been going on in the lineage and everything. It kind of softens you, because you're like, oh, not that we love the behavior, but we can see why it's happening and have compassion for it. So I mentioned veils, which I'm in this women's group, and one of my beautiful sisters, because it was near Halloween and people were saying how the veil was so thin, and she said, there is no veil. And one of the other, I wasn't there for the group, but one of the other women shared this piece of wisdom with me, and a light went off over my head, and I'm like, she's right, there is no veil. However, at certain levels of consciousness, there is a veil, because, and it's all by infinite design, because how things work here in this realm, we're almost protected from ourselves, from accessing visions, data, psychic information, and such that we're not prepared to handle. And so at other levels of consciousness, there was many veils for me, many curtains and veils, and didn't have access to things. And as we elevate and we move into a place of spiritual maturity, we begin to the veils that truly were never there, but they were there. I know that I'm contradicting myself, but just roll with it. I think you get what I mean. At various levels of consciousness, there's a veil. We don't have access, but then as we evolve and we mature and we are embodied and we are ready, then the pretend veil, the appearance of the veil, is no longer there. And we see things and we feel things, we know things that perhaps, like, you look back 6 months ago and you're like, I am completely operating at a different level. And so many of us are starting to really experience our multidimensional nature. You know, if you've been on the spiritual path for a while, you've heard that you're a multidimensional being. And when we first hear this information, it's like a mental concept. We're like, okay, that's cool. But until you start to experience your multidimensional nature, it is just that, a mental concept. You begin to be able to see past lives. You begin to be able to see various dimensionality, which dimensions aren't a place in space. It's an energy. It's a frequency. We can see parallel realities, alternate universes. Yesterday I was in a healing session and oh my God, I felt like I was taking a hero's journey of magic mushrooms and someone had given me MDMA, ecstasy, and like 10 hits of acid and ayahuasca all at the same time. Like, I was watching, it was like watching 100 movie channels on fast forward all at the same time. And it was really moving me out of my comfort zone and really stretching the limits of my nervous system. And my body it was like I was being hit with lightning and my head would fly back and my legs would jump off the floor. And for someone looking at me from the outside, they may literally think I was having a seizure. It was probably, my husband was next to me. And the things that I saw, you guys, oh my God. I could see the waves of ascension and awakening energy coming onto the planet and people it was like being struck by lightning, hearts just opening, the golden ball of enlightenment and self-actualization coming into the brain, into the consciousness, and like turning on all the circuits. Various human beings around the planet lighting up and anchoring this heaven on earth energy. And I had tears streaming down my face because I'm seeing and I'm feeling this beauty and this awakening and this heart expansion and this multidimensionality and and the potential of where we're headed as a species. But my mind was also going, well, wait a minute, because you know, at first blush, when I look out here in the appearance, things look like shit. And they look like things are getting worse and the darkness is rising and all of that. And that's all. So, you know, my mind kicked in a bit, but yet I was seeing and feeling and experiencing the truth. And there was, you know, some doubt going on and some questioning going on and buts going on. But the appearance is looking really scary and hairy right now. And so there was this duality going on. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are feeling that too. It's like you look out here and you watch the news, or hopefully you no longer watch the news, because the news is a program to program us to keep us in fear, in a lower vibration. But if you're still watching the news, cool, not judging. I'm not judging. Things look dismal, but yet you may also simultaneously feel something magical going on within you. And maybe in your little soul family, your little tribe, you're seeing this like magic. You're seeing this amazing magic carpet ride that we call the spiritual journey and a spiritual awakening and ascension. And you've got one foot in the, what I call the appearance, in this third dimensional shit show, and yet you've got another foot or 100 feet, 100 various feet, and all these other higher realms. And so you're like, okay, Erica, get to your point. So my point is, with this multidimensionality, our human vessel is the bridge between heaven and earth. And when I say heaven, I don't mean like where people, like where souls go when they pass over. I mean, there's an energy of the Garden of Eden. There's an energy of purity, of immaculate, pristine, creator, creatrix, unity, love, coexistence, cohabitation, harmonization, serenity, peace, joy, celebration, all that good stuff. And many of us are born in here to, like, we've got this blueprint, this geometry, and we're here to shake shit up. We're here to tear down the old and birth the new. And in order to do that, we need access, multidimensional access to these higher realms, and we birth it. We are in a birthing phase. And this isn't just, you know, like men and women, divine feminine and divine masculine. Birth. And so we are birthing this new energy, this new earth, this new reality, this new geometry that is immaculate and holy and sacred. There, that's what I didn't think I would be able to, I'm like, yeah, right. I'm being guided to speak about multidimensionality, and it's like the words, right? And I share this hoping to be as articulate and precise as possible, with the understanding that words and the language, it limits the expression of what I'm trying to share, but I'm emanating it from my heart and from my being. And so if you can link in and connect in beyond the words and link in to the fullness of the expression that is silent and not being spoken. So that's what I wanted to share and talk about today. I'd love a conversation. I'd love to hear, like, what are you experiencing? Do you have any questions about this? I'll answer them the best that I can. If you know someone that could benefit from this information, please share it with them. I always appreciate it. So yeah, welcome to this vast, infinite multiverse. And if you're here and you're watching this and you're in a body, you're a part of this amazing puzzle, this beautiful fabric, this tapestry that's being woven with our open hearts, with our light, and with our love. So thank you for being here and participating in the most exciting up-leveling that humanity has ever seen, that the earth has ever seen, and you're a pivotal, vital piece of this. So thank you for being here.